Going to try something new today. We're going to stream it live on Twitch. I'm joined by some pretty usual suspects here in Thorin, Dazed, and the Bears. How are you guys doing on this lovely, lovely day?
I'm all right. I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging to the fullest. Living life, my friend.
So I'm also alive.
I'm glad you're alive, Thorin. And Sam,
that's good.
You're
Now,
awake. You here? You ready?
Wake me up inside. The Bears, wake me up inside.
Hey, look, I'm tired of also reading YouTube comments asking for you. So I figure we just go ahead and get this thing over with and get you in here and be done with it, right?
Papa's cherry.
Plus, I wanted you to come in here and get bodied by Duncan verbally. So that's really what I was looking for.
Okay.
That's what everyone's looking for.
It is, isn't it? That's what people don't know, mate. I should have, shouldn't I? I actually secretly the puppet master behind all this. Like, I just set the whole thing up, mate.
Every single one of them. Well, to get this one started, let's go ahead and get into the first question. Are you guys ready to do this? Are we ready to scream and shout?
Take a deep breath. Get mentally focused.
Come on,
I'm ready.
Come on, hit the ground running, mate.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right. Question number 1. The biggest disappointment of IEM Katowice. And we're going to start, in case you're just joining us, the way this works is I say the question, they get to say their side, and then we'll start an open debate 4.5 minutes. So since Dazed decided to join us, Dazed, why don't you give us your initial answer?
Oh man, I come off out of the gates. All right. So my biggest disappointment was SK. And the reason for that is
hold on. Save it. SK. The Bears, what's your answer?
Okay.
C9.
And Mr. Shields.
Virtus Pro.
Virtus Pro. Well, 4.5 minutes on the clock, guys. We're going to have a live poll in chat. 4.5 minutes on the clock. Let's open this bad boy up and go.
Look, I'm going to keep it NACS right here, okay? Come on. I want C9. I see potential. When they first got automatic, they were winning. They won the ESA Pro League, and then just lately, just downhill. And I feel like it's not necessarily their skill, but it's a lot of external factors that they could eliminate if they put more effort, they stop pugging, and just really focus on the gameplay, because they can beat top teams, but then they just lose like horribly. They just end up losing horribly, and I don't like that. I don't like that from C9. Why?
Okay, hey, it's open debate. Go for it, boys.
Okay, I'll go next. So for me, SK was a disappointment, and the reason for that is because first off, they disappointed insane amounts of Brazilian fans, right? So that's got to count for something. But second off, they come into this and expectations are very, very high. They have Phelps, and everybody's thinking Phelps is the star of Immortals. Immortals is a really good team in their own right. So he's going to come in SK and he's going to fit right in, and they're going to make it work, and all of a sudden everything's going to click. And it didn't click nearly as well as other people, everybody kind of assumed that it would. So to me, that's a pretty big disappointment, because you're going from with FNX, and we'll probably talk about this a little bit more further with FNX, especially, when they're all getting along, consistent semis or better at every single tournament, essentially, right? And the undisputed #1 team. And now they make that roster change, and I think there's going to be a really long feeling out period. And I don't think it's going to go nearly as smoothly as everybody probably anticipated.
So here's the problem. SK Gaming was essentially only eliminated from the group stage because they lost a really close 16-14 game to Virtus Pro on Inferno, a map that neither team really was playing. It's like a brand new map in the pool. So I don't think it's like bananas that they couldn't get out of that group. It was a really stacked group. Whereas Virtus Pro not getting out, okay, they're a team where they're on home soil, so there's no jet lag excuses, etc. And the three maps they lost to the three teams, Na'Vi, North, and Heroic, all the teams that got out of the group were all maps that were Virtus Pro's best maps. They lost to Nuke. They had like an unbeaten streak of that, like 12 maps, 13 maps in a row or something. They lost to North on, I think it was Cobblestone. I mean, that's a map that they're getting cobblestone against everyone mostly. I think they had like a near winning streak on that. And then Na'Vi on train, like Na'Vi hasn't looked good in a while. So to me, the idea that Virtus Pro didn't even get out of the group and getting all their own maps as well. Like it's one thing if you get a bad map with like your SK. And then in terms of Cloud9 and the Bears, like disappointment Bears. They won 2 games in the group where people thought
they went
like
2-0
no games or 1 game.
They went 2-0. They gave
I have a
us
question
hope.
though.
They gave us hope for they could move on to the next round, and then they completely choke it off. That's a disappointment. That's just taking your balls and squishing it and throwing it away. It's just terrible.
And I'm voting for the Bears just off that. But I have a question. How does Thorin get more of the votes than either of us combined without even speaking? He didn't even speak, and he's already getting all the votes. It doesn't make any sense.
It's weird how that works.
People kind of knew.
He's brainwashed
That's ridiculous.
the community already. He's already done it.
You're talking about Virtus Pro dropping that map to SK on Inferno, right? But really where SK messed up is that they lost to Cloud9. And the thing that's really disappointing about SK is that without Dust 2, now all of a sudden they have 2 maps that they don't want to play in the pool in Nuke and Cash.
Yeah.
So they were trying to play Nuke. They got bodied.
So your
on
point
it.
you're making is that nowadays SK doesn't really have a map pool. So it's probably not that surprising that they went out.
No, but that's disappointing. Because they don't have the band to support it, and they're losing to Cloud9.
Asking about why our dads are upset that we disappointed that we didn't do more with our lives, but it's actually about like the disappointment that we feel due to the performance. It's not that you'd expect more of them. You want SK to be really good,
Well, of course it's about their disappointment. What do you mean? How else
and
are you
also,
going to
the
be
Bears,
disappointed?
come on, you're shocked that Cloud9 didn't get out of an international group stage. Like, Dazed spent his whole career with Scar, just getting his head banged
I'm not
in group
shocked.
stages of international
Listen, I'm not
tournaments,
shocked.
It's what
that they
happens.
didn't get
Okay?
out.
They're in Europe. You realize Skadoo was outside of the border of North America.
That they won 2-0. They're up 2-0. They beat SK. They beat Heroic. They're on their way to advance, and then they dropped the ball completely. That's the C9 I'm upset about. That they had a chance. They have potential to do it, but they dropped the ball almost every single time. That's why I'm disappointed in C9. Okay.
Dude, this is Virtus Pro. They were in Poland, Katowice. The entire crowd's waiting for them. This is like Michael Jackson does he does like the rehearsal and then doesn't even show up to the actual concert. It's just like whoever's the opening act is just doing the whole concert. Like, anyone know my numbers? Shit, where's all the crowd? Like, how disappointing is that? Literally, everyone in Poland was disappointed. And this time by an actual Polish team. Not turned up to the event, not me.
Okay. Somehow I thought the Bears was going to get away with murder here with getting that last little point into the timer. You played it pretty well there, but your answer was just a little lackluster.
I have high hopes for NA. Okay, we gotta have high hopes. We keep throwing ourselves in the gutter. This is why NA is always at the bottom, because we throw them away. We have to fix it. We have to work together.
Sam, give me a closing statement, please.
Well, okay. Closing statement for me, right, is that although Virtus Pro has been performing super well lately, I don't think they're one of those teams that's just going to always beat other teams in group stages and win these best of ones against like top teams. I think they're a lot more of like a best of 3 teams, unless they're playing against NA teams. That we seem to crush them in best of ones, right? With SK, all right, you always assume that they always do well in best of ones. They've always had the map pool to back it up as well. And then they lost to Cloud9, who who usually just body, right? I mean, I know they lost them at Pro League, but generally speaking, like, I mean, I've talked to a lot of the Cloud9 members that are like, dude, playing against SK is so difficult. The way they play is super aggressive at the start and stuff like that. And expectations are so high when you have like this player in Phelps, and then to not kind of produce in the group stage like that and not even get out of it is to me really disappointing, especially losing to Cloud9, And I think this group was really, really tough. I think I don't think anybody had over a 50% chance to even get out of the group because of how difficult it was, so it was a pretty tough group. Let's be real here.
All right. Well, the numbers don't lie. I mean, the votes did come in for Thorin rather early. It looks as though there might have been some Russian meddling going on there.
Well, I mean, he might have a couple I'm looking at the viewer list and it's Thorin 3 through 25. So
there's a lot of Thorins out there. So
it's a
maybe
common
if you
name.
find the Thorin inside yourself, Dazed, then you might win the show, mate. So get it together. Let's go.
I do not want that.
Sounds a little dirty right there, but okay, move on.
All right, so we're going to award the first point. I'm going to give this one to the crowd. Duncan's going to get it. Sam, you made a really good argument, though. I hope you know that. You're doing great for your first time. You're already just a little bit above the Bears.
Pep
in terms of how this
okay?
works.
That's-
We're only one
that's,
question in. Come on.
But let's go ahead
Has
and
Eric
let's
ever
move
won a
forward.
point before?
Eric's won a point. Eric has also won a show, but no one ever saw it. It was the weirdest
Really?
Got
thing that ever happened.
deleted. Yeah,
It was
they
the
voted
pilot.
it and then deleted it.
It was the pilot.
Yeah,
episode.
that's great. That's life. I love it.
All right. So we
Sometimes
just
you gotta
asked
jump out and
the
headshot, right, the Bears?
We just
Go on,
asked the
go on.
biggest disappointment of IEM Katowice, right? Our next question is going to be, who was the MVP of IEM Katowice? And I'm going to give it to Duncan since he won the last question.
I'm going
Duncan.
to say Zipnix, the support player of Astralis.
Okay. Sam.
Oh, Dupree by far.
And last but not least, let's get it, Eric.
Hen 1 from Immortals.
All right. Well,
It always has to be so out of left field, doesn't it?
No, it's not.
It's like he
not
does
too,
this on
it's not
purpose.
Too, it's not
It's
too
weird.
left out of field, all right? It's not too
Okay.
out of left field.
Okay. Yeah.
all right. So give me 4.5 minutes on the clock, and I'm just going to open up for you guys to squirm around in here.
Okay, you guys both pick players from Astralis. All right, that just shows that they're a great team. Okay, they're overall all of them great players, good team overall. They all look like amazing players. When Hen 1 does not op, if he's not hitting his shots, they do not win. They a lot of times they struggle to win if he's at the bottom. But when he's hitting, he hits so many banana shots at IEM. It won him games. They won games through him just dominating and destroying. He's just on fire. He was insane in the whole tournament. And for Immortals, they always it feels like to me that they lose if he's not on top. But Astralis, if Zipnik perform, they got Device, they got Dupree, they got anyone in that lineup to take over to be the MVP. Immortals, I don't know. They have bolts, but they have FNX. But Hen 1 is if he doesn't do well, they don't win. That's how it is.
Okay, but it's not about like the scenario of who is the one player on any team who had to do the most to make you win. Because by that logic, some team who was like the last place team and just played well. Yeah. So as a result, traditionally in nearly every sport I'm aware of, MVP award goes usually to someone on the winning team, assuming you actually are in a situation where none of them just did very badly, or no one was like unbelievably 4 times better on the second place team. Now, Immortals didn't even make it to the final. So for Hen 1 to be the MVP in traditional sports like evaluation, he'd have to literally probably be like 3 times better in his performance than anyone on any other teams.
But
now, the problem with that is,
but a lot of people didn't expect Immortals to even advance at all, and they got already to like 3rd to 4th place out of.
They'd probably be a great pick then for like a question like who'd the surprise team be of Katowice? But that's not the question. So back to this question of who the MVP was. A young man called Zipnix broke the record for clutches. I mean, this guy was just winning 1vx, left, right, center. He got them games in the group stage. He got them games in every playoff series. This guy almost could not lose clutches. And as a result, that's why Astralis, at the end of the tournament, almost cruised to victory against some of the best competition in the world.
I don't know how you say they cruised to victory, because probably the only reason they won Overpass is because Dupree won it with a Deagle and half armor when his teammates all have USPs and a P250. And in my mind, probably has the greatest round. I don't know another round that was more impactful in terms of changing the match. When you're on a save and one guy buys, that's it, with 1350, and he aces the other team and puts them into an eco. If he doesn't win that round, I don't know if they win Overpass, right? And I don't know if there's another round that was better than that in like CS history. That was the most incredible round I think I've ever seen by somebody when he had that 5K Deagle.
One round does not a tournament make, though.
Well, it wins that map for them, and he also top fragged on the majority of the maps. And I agreed, Zipnix had a great tournament. The thing about Zipnix is he played. Now I'm arguing your point for you, but if you look at Dupree, right, you expect a certain level. You expect a certain level, and his normal level is so high, and he even went above that level, right? So I think Dupree was like up here. Now Zipnix, he's more of a support player for the team, and although he played above his level, it was still not above Dupree, because if Dupree doesn't have these super impactful rounds, the clutch on Nuke and the 1v3 when he's in the back of lower was absurd, right? That clinches the map, right? And then that 1v5 with the Deagle, I don't think they win Overpass without that. In fact, I'm pretty sure FaZe probably wins that if he doesn't have that round. when you win around like that and you're within even teams, right? With, you know, maybe a Chalice is a little bit better normally, but they're pretty equivalent. You win around like that, and it just puts you in such a big advantage. And he really won overpass for them. So I think when you win a map like that, you close out Nuke and probably win Nuke for the team as well. He kind of won those 2 maps. Now, he didn't perform on Cash, but the maps they won were mainly because of him.
So here's the problem is that, again, it's like MVP of the whole tournament. So that one map, yeah, it's great and all that, but if you lose that map, it's not like you lost the tournament. It wasn't a best of 3. You'd still have the 5th map. On the 5th map, Astrala's still favored to win anyway. How did they get to a position where Dupree could do all that? Xyp9x winning clutches, Xyp9x closing it down. Clutch rounds arguably have the biggest impact on any match between 2 evenly level teams. You know, frags, it's great to drop 20, 30 frags anywhere, but if you can win the 1vx situations, that's gold. That's found money. You know, you can't bank on that. So when a guy does it and he breaks the record for clutches, it's hard to say he's not, unless, of course, he debats.
How long is the record been?
The time's over, mate. Time's over, so.
Okay, fine.
Okay, look, time is
See how
over.
that works, Fez?
These strategies coming out here are just like, they're getting interesting the more shows we do, because some of you are figuring it out. So, I mean, the chat's speaking, and they're saying they want Mr. Dazed to get a vote here. I mean, you know, honestly,
okay, well, I mean, got to get along to get along, right? So,
I mean,
I think these clutch stats might be a bit of alternative facts.
it's
How long have these stats been out there? How many maps did they play versus how many maps they played at other tournaments?
Look,
I mean, if you had some of those answers, it'd be dynamite to help you win the point, but you don't have any of them. So, I mean, you know, you can't, no one's going to fact check for you, Hillary, you know.
Damn.
Wow.
I love it. I'm a fan. All right. So, I mean, we know what Xyp9x did here at this tournament, but, you know, I'm going to listen to the audience in this one. Dazed, you're going to get the point. Congratulations, man. You've made your first point here on Put Up or Shut Up. I hope you're enjoying your stay. We may not ask you to come back.
This is the greatest thing I've ever done.
My life, okay.
Look, we're going to actually talk about the Xyp9x character a little bit here in our next question. The question is, with Xyp9x breaking the record for clutches in an event, who is the best clutch player in CSGO history? And Dazed, you can start.
Okay, so the way I look at this, I'm gonna pick Crims, and here's why. Fnatic.
No, tell us why
the
in
most
this segment that is allowed you to
dominant.
Yeah.
The most dominant team of all time.
Hold on.
Yeah, I give the answer first.
Close.
Sorry.
Oh, look,
Okay, well,
I'm all about shooting first and asking questions later.
My bad.
Let's go with the Bears.
Neo.
For some reason, I thought he was gonna be like.
How does he do it?
I thought he was gonna be like Skadoodle.
How does he do it?
All right, Thorin, what you got?
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Get Right from.
Oh, what a tough.
Oh boy.
What a.
I mean, I'm down to hear this.
What
one
a
play
shocker.
Out. All right, boys. You know the rules. You got 4.5 minutes on the clock. Let's just hear some trash talks, banter. What you got?
I'll go first. So Fnatic, the most dominant CS:GO team of all time. You know, when Nip dominated, everybody sucked. Let's be honest. The level of play wasn't very high. Fnatic dominated in that period. Yeah, and so who would know better? So, anyways, Fnatic during that period that they're dominating for that year or whatever, right? Crim's by far the best clutcher. And during that time, one of the best solo site players consistently put into clutch opportunities, performed the highest level at that. And what do you say when you say like the best of all time, right? You look at Michael Jordan, who was the most dominant player of all time and had the most dominant team of all time, right? So I look at the most dominant team of all time and the best player at that job during that time, and that's Crims.
Okay, so I like your point there because you say like you look at like all time, you look at Michael Jordan. So okay, the Michael Jordan of CS:GO probably Get Right actually. You know, the most dominant player, used to have the most insane stats every game he turned up. His team was incredibly dominant. First 87 maps in a row.
He beat Bill Russell or Will Chamberlain.
Actually, in this scenario, okay, what's great is that back then, part of the reason why Nip was just winning every map is sure, people could actually get Nip close. People forget this. There were 16-14s that they won narrowly, but the part of the reason why you could never beat them is because they had a guy called Get Right who not only won every 1v1, he used to have a stat where he was 50% in 1v2s, like unbelievable stuff. Like he was so good. He was in clutches. you almost like couldn't beat him unless you had 3 players. Essentially, that's what the numbers tell you in general. Also, add in that he used to play like the hard lurk role, so you even knew he's not going to come early. He's going to come in late. He's going to come in from these weird back angles. So everyone had a sense that he should be behind me right now. He should be over here, but it doesn't matter. He'd still find a way to win. That's like the guy where he tells you he's going to shoot the shot in your face. He still shoots in your face and makes it.
But it's
So
just a
that's
lesser
just domination.
era. It's a lesser era. He's the Bill Russell or the Wilt Chamberlain of the era. It's the
Luckily,
first
the
year of
question
CS:GO.
wasn't who was the best in the strongest era. The question was just who is the best clutch player. So actually,
Yeah, so
that's,
what's the best
not really
clutch
relevant.
and during that era, what happened? Get Right wasn't nearly as clutch as Crims. He was still great, but he was not at that level that Crims was. There's a reason Fnatic was the most dominant team in CS:GO history. And it's because they dominated from all aspects. And Crims clutching like he did was the Michael Jordan of clutching.
I'll say
Get Right was
it
a better player for longer.
I think
though.
Flusha made Fnatic the best team in history.
Yeah, good point. Flusher was pretty sick. I agree.
Yeah,
He was a fucking
you know,
amazing
also
player.
sick as JW.
Yeah.
Sometimes he knife people. That was
Okay.
sick too.
Yeah.
But no,
And the Bears.
I
Okay,
picked
here's the
Neo.
problem
I
with
like
the Bears picking Neo. Okay, is that
What's wrong with Neo?
the problem with that?
He didn't
the
even
Bears
argue his
is-
point yet.
Okay,
Let him
come on,
argue his
Bears.
point.
I want
Tell me
Thorn
the
to go first.
reason
I want
why.
Thorn to go first.
No,
Before
no,
it's
no.
shitty.
Shitting
no,
on
no.
him.
Come on, Best. Tell me.
Listen, Neo, okay, you're talking about CS:GO. It's not just what he's done in CS:GO, but what also he's done in 1.6. All right, this guy's been playing
No, it isn't.
Counter-Strike
No,
in
it's
games.
CS:GO.
No,
The question is
it
definitely
carries
CS:GO.
on. That's the mentality. When you're a
Wrong.
gamer, it's a mentality
Come on.
thing. All right, when you're that
Wrong.
clutch person, you want it. You want to be it. Neo's always in those kind of spots. If you watch a lot of VP games, you see Neo. He's always in those one-on-one situations where I just
We need to be a good clutch player. So yeah.
he's always hitting the shot. I see him like I'm scared of Neo. Like I watch him play, and then I always fear that the
question is not
North
who are you
America.
scared of. It's who's the best clutch player in CS:GO.
Exactly, but it's just Neo's been around for so long. It's like
Yeah.
he puts that in your mind. Okay, you got Get Right, you got Crims. Okay, they're great.
Yeah.
All right, Get Right was amazing during his time when they were undefeated. Okay, but Neo, he's been around for 15 years. And it carries on. It's the mentality of when you're in the 1-1 situation, he has experience, he has to play. You can even look on HLTV stats if you wanted to and check out Neo. He has over 65% win rate and in 1-on-1s against tier 1 teams, always playing tier 1 teams. And I fear him. And I think everyone else fears him too. And that's what makes him such a great clutch player. It's the fear of the dark.
Well,
If the Bears didn't win
says
that
it all,
point, I
so,
don't even
yeah.
know.
Come on, we got to give him his best chance on this one. Just let the clock run out. Okay.
You know, Eric coming out with those numbers like that there at the end was really nice.
Probably made
is it-
up. But okay.
No, it's not made up. It's not made up.
I often ask if half of your numbers are made up, Duncan. I'll be completely honest, but
I don't know about that.
that's besides the point. That's not what we're going to talk about here. You don't get a point for that. I don't know. I mean, honestly, Thorin did make a pretty good point there. I mean, Get Right is Get Right, right? So
Great point. Get Right is Get Right.
Great point.
hey, well, you
That's
look,
your
at that
problem,
point,
Dazed.
Dazed
See?
is definitely not getting a point.
Crims
so.
does not get right. So that's,
Damn, dude.
you didn't think that was
All right.
Yeah, Crims is better.
I mean, I literally programmed it into Stonner's mind that the answer's right because I've said it to get right. So obviously I got it right, didn't I? It's literally like I'm working on an LP.
It's weird. It's some sort of Charlie Manson status stuff going on around here.
Yeah.
No, but I mean,
You're just
The-
gonna
the
let
crowd
Thorin
voted-
just manipulate you
Thorin
like
gets
that? Son?
Thorin gets the crowd vote, but hold on, Thorin gets the crowd vote, but does he get my vote? That's the
Okay.
question. And honestly, the effort that the Bears just put in to that argument, just the
Participation
sheer
award here, come on.
tenacity. Welcome to the game, Derek. Welcome to the game.
Oh, the pity
You-
point.
yeah, you get your
There
first point. There it is.
Yeah, there he is.
Terrible.
Yeah. There he
All
is.
right, you know what? That's fine. I mean, we can't win them all, right, Sam? Okay, so let's go to the next question. 2 months into 2017, which struggling top team will continue to fall? The Bears. You're
Team,
going to answer first.
Team Optic.
Okay, and next victim will be Sam.
SK.
Okay, and Duncan.
I'm going to say Natas Fincer, Navi.
The appropriate way to say it. Okay. All right, 4.5 minutes on the clock. Next victim, please.
I could be like Thornbeck. Well, how you can say Navi if they're not a top team? How can they get better? Blah, blah, blah. No. I pick Optic. One, because of Not Fly. All right. With Stanislav leaving, Not Fly is the in-game leader of Optic, and with Hiko being added on, it sucks to see, but they've been doing really, really bad. I don't know if it's just because they're with Hiko's added on team or the in-game leader. I think it's possibly both, but against tier 1 teams, they've been getting destroyed. It's not even close. And even in Tark's streams and Twitter and whatnot, he's saying his own team sucks. So it's hard to really, see them getting better when they seem to be falling so deep and so low.
Okay. So the problem with that is if we think about it, Na'Vi is a team where they obviously are a top team. They've been in the playoffs of all 3 of the last tournaments, including the major. So they're putting themselves in contention. They're getting best of 1 wins over top teams. Therefore, they qualify as a top team. They're top 10 almost certainly, perhaps even better. But they don't get the series wins. They disappoint. They look like that's going to be a continuing trend. They haven't shown that they're going to win a big best of 3 series. Meanwhile, you go over and you look at the teams like you're talking about, Optic. You even admitted that they've looked terrible. They've lost their in-game leader. You'd expect actually that they're not a top team anymore. Once you lose your in-game leader and a lot of your style is based around your T side, you're not really the same team anymore. You don't really qualify as a top team. They don't seem to even think of themselves as a top team. Dazed has got SK Gaming. SK Gaming is a team that only narrowly, as I said in the last question, only 2 rounds away from getting into the playoffs. Nothing to suggest that give them a real format. Like Dazed said, they're normally so good in best of 1s. They're always making playoffs, always making top 8s. It's pretty reasonable to expect them to bounce back. Whereas Na'Vi, they don't look like they're ever going to make it past that round of 8, but they're going to make it there consistently because they've still got quality to be a top team, but not really good enough to prevent them from struggling.
But here's the thing: Optic was a top team. Okay, as you said, they left the player and they started going down. But again, they're struggling. They're going down and down and down. But they were
they went to 0 and then they've just never come back up again. So actually, if anything, they could improve Bears. They could actually win a game in a group stage. That would be an improvement. So
that's what I think with Na'Vi too.
Yeah.
See, Na'Vi is they have too much skill to ever be like worse than they are now, right? Unless they completely implode, right? They're not going to be worse than they are. They have too much skill on that team to not make playoffs, right? So,
but they
they're
did
kind of
at
a point
in the past. So, I mean, they showed that they could do
when
that.
They had.
It's always possible to get worse. Okay, remember that NA players. It's always possible.
See,
to get
I don't. I don't think so.
We're pretty.
I don't think so
now.
with Na'Vi. I think they're always going to be like at this level where they're pretty good. I just don't think they're going to fall any deeper than they have. Like I think this is like if this roster stayed together for a year, it's questionable if they improve and really get to finals of tournaments and honestly get back to where they were with Zeus. Like let's be real, right? But will they continue to fall and get worse and worse? The only question is if, I don't think so, unless they really implode like mentally and whatnot.
The question isn't get worse and worse. It's just continue to falter. That's literally the wording.
But that is getting
if they're
worse
faltering
and worse.
if they're faltering at the moment for
but
a top
they won't
team,
because
top
they have
team,
too much skill. That's not going to happen. Like they're not going to just start losing. Yeah,
G2 has tons of skill. They're losing all the online games. Fnatic has all the skill in the universe. They're going out in group stages, I mean, just having skill
but that's
isn't
a
enough,
new team.
You can't just.
They're still getting used to each other. I don't think.
So what's your reasoning for SK?
Worse.
Come on, hit me quickly. 40 seconds left.
All right. The reason for SK is that they have this unknown with Phelps. And Phelps, when he was winning rounds with Immortals, was doing it in a way that SK is not comfortable winning rounds with. When he was winning rounds with Immortals, because he was pushing through a smoke and taking a huge risk time after time again, right? Now he's in a team where it's much more structured. He's not going to have that option where it's just, hey, Phelps, do whatever you want. Even if you lose us the round, it doesn't matter because we're okay with you winning us the round. So he has to completely adapt his playstyle. And I think we're seeing now with FNX in Immortals just how good this guy is and how incredible of a player he is, right? With the level that he made Immortals at now, and I think we're going to continue to see Immortals improve. So when we actually saw Phelps play
amazingly at this tournament, though, and so if anything, you get another piece like Cold Zero was kind of underwhelming. If Cold Zero comes with his normal performance and he's so consistent over history, now you got your 3-star players, Phelps, Fur, and Cold Zero, and you're banging in SK's making playoffs.
That the frags happen.
I don't
have to look
zero
at the
time, zero on the clock, so I don't have
Wait,
to
wait.
watch and listen to
Let me
anything else.
let me close this
No,
out.
no,
Let me
Ben.
close
Hold
this
on,
out.
hold up. Everybody,
Time waits for
relax.
no man, Ben.
Relax.
Time
Hold
waits for
on.
no man.
Order in the fucking court. Jesus Christ. All right.
I'm just helping you out here.
The Bears won again. God damn it.
No. Let me. I want to finish. I want to have an ending point.
Is it
here.
just
Eric,
whoever
no,
talks
hold on.
first wins?
No,
Because they just get the
Eric,
initial votes and you can't change the vote?
Hold on. Listen, I
This
know
is-
you
God
know how
damn
these.
it.
What are you gonna say? Are you gonna say it's rigged, Sam? You wouldn't dare say it's rigged.
It's not rigged, but the voting. Whoever
They're
said
voting.
it first
All right,
has
look,
a massive
here's
advantage.
what we're gonna do. The Bears has the most votes, but I'm gonna let Dazed and Thorin continue their argument for a minute because you got a little bout going on there.
Okay.
I can't.
So I like
remember
that. I
what
think a
was
key
saying.
point to make actually is the one. Like, if you look in history, okay, I think Cold Zera's only had 2 bad tournaments for his standard in the last 2 years, and they actually were both the Katowice tournaments. So history tells us actually Cold Zera, as he did even in the last 2 tournaments before that, this guy didn't win, but they still got deep. You can bank on this guy to be really, really good. So if Fops has already started to develop in a good player, like he had at Katowice, add in Fur, who just tournament to tournament is just hitting the ground running, being really good. Now you got a team where, again, you want to talk about skill that you can rely on. That'll mean that you can't go out in group stage. SK's pretty much got that dialed in, These guys look fantastic. Na'Vi, you can look at the skill. A lot of that's in the names of the players. Those players don't turn up game to game. You don't see them in every match. So they actually prove that you can have skill on paper and they won't necessarily translate into the game. Bueller.
Well, anyways,
Okay.
what I was saying with SK is that when you add this unknown factor in Phelps and Cold Zera, even when he said he's hard to talk to and stuff like that, but he's a good teammate. I mean, I've heard stories that maybe he's not the best teammate. Okay, so we're in a situation where one player, he might get his, and Phelps might, get his, but it might be at the sacrifice of others. Because the way Phelps wants to win a round is to take it upon himself and not worry about whether his teammates are in position to capitalize either off his kill or his death. So it's maybe he'll have a great round, but you know what? When he dies and he puts his team in a bad situation, when you play against teams like Astralis and whatnot who win a 4v5 round 80% of the time, guess what? That makes it super difficult for someone like Cold to really perform. He needs a consistent structure around him because Cold's the type of player that plays the odds, right? He plays the odds. He plays okay, I know I could get this kill 70% of the time, but I need my teammates to output this type of kills and be able to get the bomb down in this scenario, et cetera, right? But if Phelps is this unknown factor and he's kind of doing his own thing and putting his teammates in that situation, I don't care who you are. You could have 4 Cold Zeros. If you're in a 4v5 against Virtus, Pro, and Astralis, you're still not going to win the round more than 25% of the time or 20% of the time. It's just too difficult because of how you could change your CT or T side play styles in those 5v4s.
Fallen is a genius. He doesn't have 2 bad tournaments in a row. Na'Vi consistently faltering despite being a top team. I believe that is the requirements of the question. So I'll just leave it a perfect answer.
Damn. Well, you're not wrong. I mean, the popular vote is Eric, but I'm going to have to side with Duncan on this one. No bias, of course. I mean, while I do love the chat, I do love you all. Still my show. So there's that.
Fantastic moderation.
All right. We're gonna give the point to Duncan, and the next one's gonna determine who goes into said rapid fire round. And last but not least, a very interesting one coming from the writers of the show. Which form team should Dignitas sign to their organization? And Duncan, you can go first.
I mean, if they have to, then I guess we'll say LDLC, the French team.
Okay. Dazed.
Misfits.
And Eric.
Team Denial.
Oh, that is no.
How does he do it?
No, that is
What?
I gotta say that is terrible.
Are you just?
Please tell me
The
how.
Bears is
How?
some sort of a psyop, isn't it?
How?
He can't be real.
Listen.
Ow.
Okay. You can start the clock now. You can start the clock now.
Oh, you know what?
Start
Do
the
it.
clock, come on.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay,
Go
listen.
for it.
Okay, first of all, LDLC won't work because Dignitas said they want a North American team, so you can't include any European or whatever. Get them out of there. Okay, I don't want them coming here. They said they want strictly NA. One of the reasons why they dropped the old Dignitas team in the first place, and I picked Denial because they're an upcoming team. They have some pro players like Anger. They want it. I'm tired of seeing these rehash teams over and over. Like
This is
Misfits,
a rehash team.
TSM. But it's not like I don't want to see Sean Garris and Shazam and just keep having all these sponsors. They have a good team, but I don't buy it. I want a team that's up and coming, that's have to build their way back up, not reformed, hop back into an invite team, and then kind of half-assing around. No streamers, just straight NACS playing, and they want to win. That's what I want to see from North America. I want that. I want that fire burning within them. And I don't know if Sean. I don't know if Sean and Shazam still has it. Yeah, they might be all right players.
But coming out of denial. They've been playing for like 12 years.
So come on, Dazed.
Exactly. That's
dedication.
Dedication.
Baby. Why Misfits?
So Misfits, and purely, first off, Dignitas already got a great team. They signed the female team, so they don't really need another team. But anyways, no, the reason I'd pick Misfits is because simply because of this. You have Twist and Sick, and you could sign them, and then you could sell them for a bunch of money when they go for another team. That's why I'd sign them. Just buy low, sell high, and you could honestly, sign those kids to like 2-year deals, and they'll probably do it. Right. And then you could just be like, hey, when Cloud9 wants to make a change or something, and they might try to poach Sick or Twist. I think Twist is going to end up being really good. Then you could sell them for hundreds of thousands of dollars and make a bunch of money.
Okay. So here's the thing. LDLC at the moment, they have like a very good
Well, they're not even
foundation.
North American, and they don't.
I mean, that wasn't the question. The question wasn't NA team. Okay, let's address that then, Dazed. A good point you bring up, because the Bears made this a central point of why he was allowed to pick denial, is that not Dignitas said they want a North American team. Dignitas did not cut the team that now went to North. They went to North because FC Copenhagen gave them a way better offer. Now, then Dignitas came out like, oh, well, we were wanting to kind of build towards NA. Yeah, that's like when that super hot girlfriend leaves you and like, what happened, man? Yeah, it was kind of like, it was my choice as well. It was mutual, like, I just had to be free, she couldn't hold me down like that. Yeah, you say whatever you want, but you know what? You're still hitting on that fat chick at the end of the last call at the bar, aren't you? Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's when the truth comes out. And so the fat chick is LDLC in this scenario, because what's good is, they're an okay team. They're probably not going to go super far, but you're guaranteed you're going to be in minors. You've got Existence is like a legendary in-game leader. He can bring in young talent.
When they're going to tournaments, they're losing money. They're spending 20
You're not going to pick up Misfits, are you? Sean Garris has already shown he's going to ruin your own. He's going to use your own fan base against you to actually ruin your sponsors. Nobody's signing this guy.
No. Sean Garris is never going to ruin a
Sean
sponsor.
Garris is about
he's too pussy on social media. After every loss, he's just like, we're just going to come out and we're going to do way better, guys. He would never lose a sponsor. They're not going to make land.
He's not even going to be putting in proper hours with the young players. He's tied up in a fucking gimp suit out back somewhere, isn't he? Like, oh, please, can I play Counter-Strike again?
Listen, you don't want to send LDLC to lands because they're not going to win, and it's 20 grand each time. You don't want to send Misfits to land because they're just going to lose, but they're not going to make lands.
I mean, LDLC is one of those teams, that can place like highly at those tier 2 lands, unlike, Sean Garris teams, I know back when Sean Garris used to be good, back when you were playing, mate. History, ancient history.
But I'm not want to buy for Sean Garris.
Listen, you're not going to the Hall of Fame Museum. You're not buying a piece of history.
That's not my argument.
The future.
That's,
and if you want
Thorin,
the future,
my argument, you get Existence.
You get young players.
Talk about ancient history. Why don't you talk about Existence?
You get young players. I
don't know why Dazed is chipping in. He's in denial. Dazed, isn't it unfair to pick your own team because you're in denial, mofo? What are you talking about right now? They have nothing going for them. The only reason you'd buy them is to ensure they can never again play Counter-Strike. Get those contracts and put them in the shredder.
They'll make Pro League. They'll be in Pro League next season, and you'll see. They'll be up and coming, and they'll make stuff happen. You'll see it.
Listen, you don't want these teams going to land because they're not going to do anything, and it's a waste of money. You make money off Misfits because you could sell Sick and Twist.
That sounds like an SKS team right there. Go to land, waste of money. Not going to do much.
Holy shit. What an argument that was. I personally thoroughly enjoyed that sitting over here in my chair. But God damn, I hate to do this to you, Eric. He makes such an interesting. He actually explained why, like in a good reasoning, a good capacity of like from
investor point of view.
That's sick. Yeah, I mean like the Sick, the Twist, that combo. Like that's a pretty good idea. I like the way you sold that to me. So, I got to sign with him. Plus, I guess the chat loves him too. Look at the votes right there. Good Lord. Yep. All right. So Sam, Mr. Marine gets the point. Dazed, that is. DeBears, per the usual, you did great. And now I'm gonna have to ask. I'm gonna have to ask your help. going forward. You know how this works. We're going to go into a rapid fire playoff round where it's I present the question. Then you guys say your answer at the same time. Keep in mind, you don't know the questions. So whoever says the answer that they want first is the person that gets that choice. If you say the same thing, whoever said it first has to change it. So are we ready?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Marine, here we go. More titles by the end of the year. North or Navi?
Ooh,
North.
I would say Navi. Peak is higher.
Perfect. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some time on the clock.
Uh-huh.
And Thorin, you're going to give your side. And then we're going to do the same thing for you, Dazed. So Thorin, go ahead.
Okay, so I'll say North because if you look at it, they look like, if anything, the core of this team is continually looking like it can improve. There's more potential there to be tapped. They've got AZ in the lineup, even more skill. They've got so many good players. MSL's actually improved his level. Their map pool gradually getting better and better. They're adding in Inferno now. They look like a team where they hit the right stride. They're going to win tournaments. Whereas you go and look at the Navi guys, they still have to solve the question, where do they get an in-game leader? And there's no obvious answer. That's why they haven't got an in-game leader at the moment.
Am I up?
30 seconds on the clock, and then it's all yours. Go ahead.
Okay,
Sam.
North hasn't even come close to winning a tournament in 2017, right? Continuing to falter. And his point that their peak is going to get higher. I mean, there's no peak that's going to be higher than Navi. If you look on paper, if they can get things together, their peak is higher than arguably any other team in CSGO. So I don't think North is going to win a major tournament as is. I don't think they have the on paper players to improve at that point, but Navi could. They could have everybody get it together and then have a nice run and win a tournament because they have that type of ceiling. North doesn't.
Well, the Bears, it seems we found ourselves in a pickle.
We do.
What do you got for me, Eric?
Oh, I like the idea of Sam saying that the ceiling for Navi is a lot higher, where they could probably potentially win more. As North, they kind of they're good. They're a very good team, but they're a little more stagnant towards once you get towards, the late rounds and tournaments. And so, I think North will probably get you more top 5 places, but I think Navi will bring you more wins, like first place wins.
0 wins in 2017, of course. 0 top 4.
Well, same with North.
No, North was top 4 at DreamHack Vegas. How you like dem facts? You brought that out of me. Don't whelp the beast if you don't want him getting applause out, boys.
Third, fourth.
Okay.
Jesus. All right. Yeah. Okay. So, honestly, not a bad argument on either side, but I'm going to have to. Eric, who are you feeling on this one?
I'm feeling. I'm feeling Sam on this one. I think Navi will get more first place wins against North.
Well,
other than North.
I was leaning more towards Thorin. So Thorin's going to get the point here. Not a problem.
And that's how it works. Nice.
What the hell?
No, it's okay. It's okay.
No, that makes perfect sense, Donna.
I think Donna Brazil
If the Bears is there as a judge, that means he
Thorin
doesn't get many answers right, in which case whatever he thinks is probably wrong. Therefore, you correctly ascertained I must be right. It was that. So.
Yeah, there it is.
You're like Sherlock Holmes, you figured it out. Exactly.
You have to play the system there, right? So, all right, cool. Thorn's gonna get that point. Let's go on to the next one. Let's keep it moving. Here's a fun one. You're probably both gonna enjoy this one. Name a change Cloud9 needs to make.
Make Shroud a permanent streamer.
Sam?
Roster change? I think Shroud needs to entry frag.
Oh.
Okay. So he's picked the same one as me, so.
Wait, what?
Well,
I thought you said
it's
permanent.
It's a little different.
I thought you said permanent streamer.
Okay. It's gonna fly the way it is because they're two different answers. So,
Okay.
Thorin, you won the last point. I'm gonna let Sam go first. How about that?
Sure, why not? He needs all the head start he can get.
Oh wow. Yeah, so the way they have the team is that Shroud is always like the hover. He never goes in first, and he's not really used to his fullest potential, I think. And I definitely don't think you make him a full-time streamer. I definitely think you keep the guy because he kind of does things that nobody else in North America really can. especially as far as like holding solo sites and whatnot. But having said that, on T side and CT side as well, if you could just get him to be more aggressive and actually utilize his talent, you'll be much more improved. They have the talent, it's just not utilized properly.
All right, well, guess who's next?
Okay, so the most underrated aspect of esports is the fact that actually being able to deliver streaming hours and get big views is incredibly, that can do more for you than placing highly in a tournament. Shroud can do that, and he can consistently do it. So if you're Cloud9, a lot of people are saying cut Shroud. No, just make him a streamer, make him a personality, get all your money that way. Whereas like Dazed is talking about like change up his role, use him differently. No, because here's the thing, in a team, in a basketball team, when someone doesn't get a lot of shots, that's because the team knows they suck and they don't even ask for the ball. Shroud doesn't even ask for the ball because he's straight shook. He's Kwame Brown. He doesn't want the ball. Doesn't matter that he's the #1 pick. He's gonna clang that off the front of the hoop.
But I don't get it. So
The time's finished.
are you
so it
saying
doesn't
he
really
doesn't
matter. I mean, it's great that you don't get it, but time's over.
but
mate, so.
but he doesn't play? Or
No, but
does
it's
he
irrelevant
play?
though, really, because when time's finished, time's finished. When we're all dead, we're dead. Time waits for no man. Fate. I can't give you time, Days.
But does he play in matches or no?
I want this to be
I don't
your time. I want you to
understand.
be a top in-game leader, but I can't do it about it. It's the rules, isn't it? Bloody Valve.
Good God. All right. So how about this? The Bears, what do you think?
I always don't like when people when they talk about how to change up a team, first people's response is always to replace the player. So I like Sam's approach on how maybe they aren't utilizing him right. And because he plays games like 10 hours a day, whether it's pugging, streaming, CS, whatever, he's still playing. He's still playing like 12 hours a day at least, 10, like he's playing a lot of CS. So he has the skill, and maybe they're just using it wrong. And I think a lot of it has to do with pugging and streaming so much in general. So maybe if he cuts down streaming, becomes an entry role, I think C9 could be a lot better team. I think that's a little bit better than cutting him, pretty much putting full-time streamer, and then finding a whole new fifth to rebuild everything off of. I think that's more of a like long, late term, but for short term, I like what Sam said.
I mean, we established how that works, so.
We have most definitely established a few things, but what chat has established is that Dazed has won this question. The cookie crumbles. Honestly though, Thorin, you make a good point on both sides of the fence here. I know Mike, right? Mike likes to run in there. He likes to shoot at things. He's a gamer. If he gets bored, it doesn't help. So the other aspect on your side of the fence is where you're talking about streaming. Obviously, that's a reality, and that's just the way that the industry's come to be. Is streamer numbers are huge. They're important to like a brand, an entity, more so a team brand and entity too. But Sam gets the point because that's just how I feel. So there you go. All right.
Got to keep it controversial. Okay.
You got to. You must. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Who will end up higher on the rankings by the end of the year? And I'll give you 3 names. Cloud9, Optic, or Liquid?
Liquid.
Cloud9.
Ooh.
Even he didn't believe it when he said that.
He had a little smirk about him when he said it. I did see that.
No, Cloud9 will end up higher for sure.
Okay, check it out. 30 seconds of the clock. Sam, you go first.
Okay, Cloud9 has the best player in North America by far in Stewie 2K. By far. It's not even close. Okay. The guy works harder than everybody else in North America. He puts in 80 hours a week regularly. He's going to find a way to make things work. He can consistently win against top teams and best of ones, and is not afraid to widen their map pool and make it better. And also country reach country, Liquid is not going to beat them. Stewie 2K is too smart when it comes to understanding, just small things that other teams do and exploiting them, that he can play against a lot. So he's always going to win the NA versus NA matchup.
Okay, well, Thorin, 30 seconds on the clock. It is now your time to shine. Go ahead.
Okay, so Team Liquid has the real best NA player, which is a guy called Elige, who goes to majors and he goes to big international tournaments, and he drops huge numbers, huge. incredible numbers. He has the best numbers. So when he does this, okay, you've now paired him with arguably the best in-game leader in NA for the last 6 months in Stanislaw. You've got all the other pieces around you, good AWPer, good support play to potentially succeed. Stewie 2K, as you said, plays like 8 hours a week. Okay, he's done that for 6 months. He hasn't figured out a solution. He's run out of answers at this point in time, aside from throw the alley-oop for automatic, then let's both go cry in the locker room.
Wow. Sam, convince me, make me a believer.
Okay. Well, country versus country matchup, like when Liquid plays against Cloud9, Cloud9's going to beat them.
Not really the question, though. So,
well, it is because they're going to play against each other, and that's going to influence
why are they going to play against each other?
Whether or not. Why are they going to play against each other? Because they play multiple times in Pro League. They're going to go to multiple tournaments together, and they're going to practice against each other all the time. And I'm telling you, I know how Stewie 2K thinks. He's going to know exactly how JDM plays. He's going to know exactly how Elite plays, exactly how Nitro plays, and he's going to use those small things to his advantage. Liquid doesn't really do that nearly as much.
It's not about who beats each other.
And Stanislaw with Optic, they always struggled against Europeans. The only time they ever beat a European actually was what versus Astralis there, right? But they've always struggled against Europeans. Even Optic, they had one good tournament at like the E-League Major, but they always sucked versus Europeans. At least Cloud9 is able to win best of ones, which means they're going to actually get out of groups a lot more often than Liquid. And then Liquid, when you talk about Elise and you say he's the best player, numbers are just numbers. Half those kills are anti-eco kills. They has 4 extremely passive players around them. None of them chase for ecos. JDM, Nitro, most passive players possible on anti-ecos. The only one who kind of chases a little bit is Pimp. Elise is the most aggressive anti-eco player possible. Half those stats are very inflated because of that. And Stewie 2K is way better, way more impactful. It's not even close. It really isn't.
I mean, that's irrelevant to whether the team's going to place better, though. So,
well, it wasn't irrelevant to your answer. You said Elise is by far the best player in the world.
I said that you're going to pair an amazing star player with the best in-game leader. You've just said we've got an amazing star player.
Yeah, who's by far the best.
Yeah, so by definition,
going to be able to beat Liquid head-to-head.
You've actually used my point.
No,
said,
I haven't.
My side's got half as much as yours, Thorin. You've made twice as many good points as me, and I said, "Share." Yeah, I have, Sam. You're right. High five.
Well, you know what? All right. Put the high fives down for a second. Good God. All right. Eric,
family friendly.
What's your take on this one?
Come on, Eric. Why is Sam right? Your best buddy.
Well, hold up, Thorin. There's no bias
No,
here.
listen, I just want you to express your love for another man.
I was actually countering for you because I think Team Liquid is the better team overall. Sam makes a good point about Stewie being really one of the best players in NA, but unless there's 5 Stewies on Cloud9, Cloud9 is going to always have problems, when they run into harder teams. It's a mental game, and I think Team Liquid may have the stronger mental game over Cloud9 because I don't know what team is showing up when C9 plays. Are they going to win? Is it the good C9? Is it the bad C9? Is automatic emo? Is Stewie emo? I don't know. Like it's random with them. I think Team Liquid in the long run would be a more consistent team, especially how they've been playing in the Pro League these last couple of weeks with Stanislav.
Well, I used to work for this team, Cloud9, so I'm kind of like, I guess my vote should probably go to that side. How this works. I'm going to go to the chat on this one. I'm going to go to the chat on this one, and I'm going to take a look here.
Mostly voted for the Bears.
Come on, chat. You know what to do. Come on.
Man, I think Liquid with, Stanislaw coming over has potential. But as it stands right now, Cloud9, I think Sam makes the better point there with C9. So Sam's going to get that point. I'm going to defy all odds, defy the chat. And
defy logic, defy fair decency.
Nobody ever said we had any of those things on this show. So.
No, it's true. This is America.
Whoa.
By God's right, manifest destiny. Go, mate. Just take everything from me, everything I earned and worked for. Just take it all.
All right, sounds good to me. That's American diplomacy. Okay. All right, so
act like a bitch on International Women's Day.
Whoa. All right, let's just keep the ball rolling here before it gets any weirder.
Okay, it's getting touchy, guys. Let's make this good. Okay.
Who won the trade, SK or Immortals?
SK.
Oh, Immortals, definitely.
Oh, this is working Too perfect, right, Eric? Good God. It's like they knew. All right. 30 seconds on the clock. Sam, you won the last one. You can take this one.
Okay, Immortals, we're watching FNX play. He's playing at a higher level than we've seen him play in a very, very long time. And I think it really shows like the type of player that he is. I mean, just look at that Deagle round last night versus Cloud9. That was just absurd. But you know, when it comes to SK, again, they just have like this unknown in Phelps. We don't know how he's going to fit in. He's going to have to get used to and adapt into a play style, which is like winning CS and consistent winning CS, where you slow it down, you really communicate well, and you have to rely on your teammates a lot. FNX can play that play style. He knows how to play that type of CS. I don't think Phelps does.
Okay, well, Duncan, please bestow your wisdom upon us.
So SK Gaming, we've seen they have the best system in the world. They constantly adapt. They took Fox. They almost went to the final of the major. They've brought in Phelps. Finally, he's in a position where he's looking really good individually. They were close to getting out of the group stage at that point in time. They're a team where they look like a lock to make playoffs, and they've got the pieces to potentially be a #1 team in the world. Immortals literally had to have Hen 1 go out, play out of his skin just to come 3rd to 4th. That was like a best case scenario for these guys. And even with him going crazy, they almost lost in the quarterfinals of Katowice to North. Their map pool means they have to get an opponent that's like a good map pool matchup against them. SK Gaming finds a way to win even on the maps that they're not that good on.
So you think?
I think SK Gaming is
than FNX?
SK Gaming. No, it's not. The question was not who is better out of FNX and Phelps. And by the way, Phelps significantly better player than FNX at this tournament that you're talking about. FNX, Phelps way better numbers, way better performance overall. So he actually on both those counts goes in my favor. And actually, I think the difference is Phelps is a young player. He's got his chance at the top level now, whereas FNX, old, washed up guy. That's why he's having to put like ice tipped in his hair. He's trying to get all the like, oh look, I'm still young. Come on, guys, this is the 90s, right? I'm Justin Timberlake. What up, girls? Like, you know, and we all know he's saying what up, girls.
Wow. Please give me some more, Sam. Just give me
at the end of the day, I could not disagree more. I think FNX is not just a better player than Phelps, but is like a lot better. He might not be as good as Phelps in certain areas where it's like a very chaotic atmosphere where he's running through smokes and things like that. But when FNX has the game in front of him and he's in 4v4 scenarios, 3v3 scenarios, he really knows how to play those extremely well at a very, very top level. And I don't think Phelps is there at that. Can he get there? Possibly, but I don't really see that. And I would rather take the consistency of FNX and knowing what he brings to the table and knowing that he knows how to play CS and win those rounds in the right way that amounts to consistency than having Phelps, who's a huge question mark in that regard.
Everything's a question mark, isn't it? Everything's a question mark.
I usually type a question mark every sentence. So, DeBears.
Okay, so here's they're both pretty good points, but here's one thing. FNX, I think he's a better pick at first in like the first couple months of play, while Phelps is a better long-term investment. The problem with FNX, though, as he had a history of time, he plays well in the first couple months or first like 6 months of the team, and then he gets lazy, starts partying, he start, you know, and the team eventually gets worse and worse with him. While Phelps, I mean, he has potential. He's a young player. He has a lot of potential. And they could mold like Colin can mold him into how he wants him to play. While Immortals can't really mold.
How about this? How come a Katowice, Immortals picks up FNX and they get out of groups which nobody even thought they'd win a map in.
I literally actually
FNX
predicted on this
joins
show
and
to
he
get
goes
out of the
there.
group in 3rd place like they did. So actually, that's
So you love
exactly what I
FNX?
expected.
Yeah, the greatest
No,
player in the world.
I just think he's decent.
Like, you
But
guys are
then why
talking
didn't
about
SK
pretty
get
much
out of group?
stats and result from just like one tournament. Again, FNX, he's great when he first hops on a team. As he joined LG way back in the day, they won tournaments with him just joining the team with Taco. But after a while, team inner turmoil because of FNX. He gets lazy. Yep. He's a history of over and over. He gets lazy after a while, and he brings the team down. Now,
you get enough of those toxic doses, you start dying.
You won't do well.
The patient's dead.
And that's why I think maybe at first, maybe Immortals might do well, but in the long run, I think SK is the better in the long term.
Can't argue with that.
This was one of the
Bears
tougher
and
ones.
Thorin.
It's almost like they teamed up here at the end. It's like, hey man, let's
I don't know what you're
but
talking about.
if I look at the chat vote right now, and it does appear that they're leaning towards Thorin, probably so we can have a prolonged show. It's weird how that works.
It's probably just a reason, yeah. But placate them.
All right, so if the Bear says it, it must be true.
But when he agreed with me, it wasn't true.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
But if the chat says it, it cannot possibly be wrong because Twitch chat knows. They know everything.
I mean,
Am
Sam,
right, Sam?
one vote.
You agree that
Wait, I didn't vote yet. Wait,
the
wait,
viewers
wait,
of
wait,
Twitch
wait.
chat know what they're talking about, right, Sam? We can agree that those guys have value. Twitch streaming viewers. You can agree that.
They know things.
The smartest
Okay.
13-year-olds
Let's
I've
let the
ever
vote
met.
update. Let's let the vote update.
No, I'm sorry. We're gonna
I
have to keep
just
moving
cast
on.
my ballot.
So let's
they'll
keep
be
moving
next
along. Thorn gets that point just because of the chat vote, because the Bears,
By one vote. One vote.
So we're gonna move along, and we're actually gonna go into who's gonna decide the winner here. It's gonna be a fun one. It's geared more towards the European theater, if you will. Name a change or roster move the Ninjas in Pajamas need to make.
Let's see.
I mean, can we take people that aren't free agents and just build our own team?
Yeah, we can do anything with it. So on this one, I don't think we even need to be like the first one because I think we're both going to pick something different. So I'll say kick out, exist, and bring in Pronax.
What?
Okay,
No
hold on.
way,
Sam,
man.
Sam, go ahead. Sam, what do you got for me?
Oh, I would get rid of Freiburg and Pitt and get Dennis and Olafmeister or Dennis and Flusha if I could. But you would never get rid of exist. If you're talking about in-game leaders, Flusha doesn't even want an in-game lead. He's just kind of doing it out of necessity. You could have exist, who's probably the best in-game leader in Sweden. We saw what Pronax did with Godsent. They didn't do anything. They had the freaking all-star studded roster. Didn't do a thing.
I don't know what
you got
Universe Godsent was the all-star studded roster. Like
You have
okay.
JW, Flusha.
That was the retirement home, mate. They went there for some sick dollars, and then eventually they had to come back to a good team and get their
but if he was
carried.
but if he was the in-game leader that we because the game has moved so much from Pronax's
he was also the in-game
leading.
leader, like the bet. Oh, game has moved on from in-game leaders, so probably like Exist, where he literally had to have
that
two
style.
players.
From that style.
Exist had two players drop 30 every game, and that's how
but
he.
Pronax's style when they were
That
successful
stopped.
was very, very gimmicky. Pronax's style when they were successful was very, very gimmicky. A lot of jumping through smokes, using things like surprise to their advantage, and that only takes you so far. Once people are at the level that they are now, that really lessens. Like those rounds don't happen nearly as much. Everybody knows how to stop them. So I don't like Pronax's in-game leading as far as like the current meta and how he kind of approaches the game. When Exist, I actually think the game is much more suited now towards Exist style of in-game leading, which is
That'll
like
be
the more
why they're
passive
just
style.
bombing out of every
people-
tournament in the group stage.
Well, what is Pronax is doing? What do you mean?
He doesn't have the talent. That's why I'm putting him on NIP. You're almost making my point for me here, bro. Because when he has the star players, he lets his star players
But
go to work.
Flusha
He
and
finds a way for them
JW
to
are
play.
stars. They're incredible. And they couldn't do anything.
if you
And
watch
they
them
had
in
a
the game, it
long
says
time
otherwise.
to do it. They had a long time to perform and come together. And he couldn't do
What do you mean they couldn't do
with those
anything? They made
guys.
it to the major. That's like more than only
Oh,
8
yeah.
teams.
Well, Nip's done a lot more than that.
No, Nip didn't make it to the major.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you for
overall,
saying that.
they've done a
That's
lot
the
more.
trap. You see,
They
when you
won
walked
IEM
over and you
Oakland.
picked up
What
that
do you mean?
sandwich. and
Would
that
you
little-
rather
Yeah,
wait?
that
Would
was
you
a while
rather
ago,
make
mate.
the major?
That was
or
literally
win
like 5
Oakland?
months ago.
So that's what we're talking about. What
cares?
God sent. We're talking
Talking
about
about now.
over 5 months ago. And Pronax
talking
has somehow
about now.
improved with his wrist issues and everything, with his inability to frag.
Ain't about fragging, mate.
All right, go on, Sana. Tell us who won or lost.
Also, how are you going to put like someone like Dennis and Olafmeister into a team where you've got Get Right and Forrest, star players who will never give up their star player role, and you're going to put other star players in?
I am.
Olafmeister, Dennis literally want to play their roles only. That's what
I
they've
am.
shown us the last 9 months.
Yeah,
so now you've
because
got
I think-
four players
I think
in a team
Forrest-
with Exist that only will play their role and won't give up anything.
Well, I don't think that's the case. I don't think Get Right and Force.
Well, I
are
can't
the
read their
type of
minds, so I
people-
can only go off history and what's actually happened.
Do you really think Get Right and Force are the type of people to not like put their egos aside? 'Cause
Absolutely.
I think,
They've done that for over a decade.
I mean, they're a lot older and wiser now, Thorin. I definitely think
You're
they
older
would.
and wiser, but you're not killing this question. You kind of
Oh, I am.
here.
I am, because their playstyles are really good for. There's nobody who else in the game would you rather have being reactionary to what is happening across the map than Get Right? Who? There's nobody. So him being able to react to what
Maybe Flasher.
Dennis. Well, you could have Flusha on the team if you want.
No,
But-
well, you didn't though, so that's irrelevant.
Yes, I did.
You just
I
said
said
okay.
either Olaf, Dennis, or Flusha. Just 2 of the 3.
Pick 2 out of 3. Oh, I'd like
Well,
to change
that's
my
what I
answer.
said.
We'll remove any of the 5 players.
Why don't we just
add any
remove
of the
all
5
5 of
players
them?
that'd be really good? And if we do any of these moves, eventually one will succeed. Dazed is literally using the monkeys with a million typewriters approach to trying to succeed at CS:GO.
Because I picked.
I'm making precision surgical moves. It's like operation.
But it's
I
the
don't touch
worst
the outside.
move
I don't
ever.
touch the ring.
Your
It comes
precision
straight
move.
out. There's no buzz.
No, your precision move is when the doctor goes into the thing and does the wrong procedure completely. The patient goes into surgery.
Right, because we haven't
They
seen
come
him
for
die.
a heart transplant, and Thorin comes in and removes his liver or something like that. That's what Thorin's doing, because removing
Exist
exists
has
for
been one of
Pronax
the
is
worst
terrible.
players in that team for a long time. The team has never actually won off their in-game leading for like about 3 years. They've won off like Lele Nip Magic hashtag, people doing ridiculous 1v2 stuff. There's no in-game leader tells them like, guys, right, what we're going to do is wait till 30 seconds. When 4 of us are dead, I want one of you to win a 1v3 with an amazing flashbang, pop into a headshot and spin around 180. I mean, I know that might be how you called in your teams, like we're all going to be dead, so you better do something, AZK. You can play the game fundamentally sound like the rest of us, but that's not actually the way Europeans play. We play tactical, we play at Pronax, we make calls, we use our in-game leaders, we set up the smokes, we have people coming in the right order, and at the end of the day, that's why Europe is Europe, and that's why NA is nothing.
Holy shit. Did you just say NA was nothing in a question that had nothing to do with NA?
He did.
I think
Not only is the chat vote against you, you just made me a little bit against you too. But Eric, what do you think? How you feel?
You know what? I think Nip needs to take a vacation. How about this? How about 6 months off? Go work at a regular job. Just sit back, and I bet you after those 6 months of bagging some things at a store, they'll be the best players coming back after those 6 months. They'd be refreshed, revitalized, and full of energy that they don't want to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of their lives. That they'd be playing the best CS that they ever have. That's mine.
So if you were Eric, if you were to pick some people to bag with out of who they just said, who would it be? Is the real question.
Oh, I mean, Dazed had a pretty good argument. Like I like the JW.
What was
Olaf.
his argument?
He's.
That's the name of the person, yeah, but what was his argument?
It was not to bring back the not to get rid of Exist. It's pretty much his argument.
No, that was just like a thing that he said, but what was his argument though?
Did not bring back Pronax.
So Dazed's argument was Nip should just not get rid of Exist. That's it.
Well, I mean,
His point very well. Even you can't remember his point.
You
remember the
It's a
part about
roster choice.
Pronax, bringing him in, about all the things he could do. You remember that? It's right in your mind.
The worst
It seems
point
like
in the
if you look
history
behind
of
your eyes, you want to
I
say
can't
it. You almost
forget
want to say it.
whatever you say, Thorin. Everything you say just burns in my mind, so it's hard to forget anything you say.
You know.
Okay. I have to pick someone to win this. We have things to do today. And honestly, this is one of the tougher decisions of the day, mainly because, well, Thorin
I
already
don't know
hated
how
on NA
that's
somehow.
Look at the chat. 23%.
Look at the chat.
Crazy.
Okay.
I mean, you know what?
The polls tell it all.
The polls told it here in the American election.
Because the polls have never been wrong. So.
Polls are going to tell it here in this election too, I think. I'm going to have to side. I'm going to have to side with Mr. Sam on this one.
Thank you.
But
we all
a
knew where that was
fantastic
going, but okay.
argument. A fantastic argument from you, Thorin. But you know what? You know how this goes. So, Sam, I'm going to let you get your closing words in. We appreciated you coming on. I don't know if the chat did and all that, but I'm sure they did. So
Wow.
you get your final thoughts in.
Final thoughts that everybody should definitely go to my YouTube and subscribe. It's www.youtube.com/codedazed. Feels good to be the reigning champ. Feels good to finally get you off my back about coming onto this show and berating me constantly about it.
Dude, it's been at least
And it's been
once
a
week.
pleasure and beating Thorin into Bears.
All right, Duncan, what you got for me?
Okay, so I mean, I'm obviously very dominant on this show. I won like the first 4 episodes. Much like I Buy Power, I always win when the show's on the internet. So what I did is I waited until we had Steel and we had Dazed coming on. I put bets out there. I was the massive favorite, obviously. I kind of let them win at the end, you know. I let them take that. And you know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who wins the meaningless online show. It's all about who's counting those orbs.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Sound.
All right. Well, the Bears.
What I mean is love everyone. Thanks. See ya. Bye.
The Bears, close us out.
I'm a moron. Thanks for listening.
Whoa.
See you guys later.
Oh, come on, man.
Stay in there, DeBest. Stay in there, mate.
It's a joke.
Stay in
It's a
there,
joke,
mate.
guys.
Okay.
Relax. It's cool. Relax. Ooh, take a deep breath.
I thought the denial answer was hilarious.
Yeah, I was.
I don't know how he comes up with this stuff. His team of writers is unreal, isn't it?
I said CLG.
creative
I say
people
these
on
things in the future because people don't believe until it starts happening. As you said, if I said previous shows before,
I guarantee
I
the
had
best
crazy answers
denial in like 2
in the first
days.
couple episodes,
ready?
but they come true. There's some method to my madness, everybody. Okay, there's some truth to it. You gotta believe.
You're not wrong. Look, I'm gonna say thank you to everyone who watched today and participated in this first ever live streaming episode of Put Up or Shut Up. Hopefully, we're able to do it again, and hopefully, we can convince Sam to come back in. There's a chance. There's always a chance, Sam. Don't write us off. But I appreciate all 3 of you, per the usual, and I think I'll see 2 of you here in about an hour. So, all right, see you guys later.
How convenient.
Adios.